All right, welcome to Michigan Tech Football 2012 here with head coach Tom Kearly. My name is Wes Fromm, the Director of Athletic Communications and Marketing here at Michigan Tech. And Coach, getting ready for a new season. What are your overall thoughts on the season coming up?
Well, I think we have a great challenge in front of us, Wes. We had a very solid season last year. We're 7-4 in our league. We lost 2 or 3 really tight ball games and feel we've got a chance to, maybe try to get over the hill. We know it's a great challenge, as it always will be in this league, but, we're excited.
When you look at your team, you start with defense. You led the league in defense last year, in total defense and scoring defense both. But the defense is going to look a lot different this year.
Right. We've had 2 years where we've led the conference in most defensive categories, and last year I think we lost 9 starters. I do feel, however, that the front half of our defense I think has a chance to be very good. As we've told the kids, we want to try to make sure that we want to try to reload, not rebuild there. With Jake Clark and Justin Blake inside, we have 2, I think, premier defensive inside players to handle the front, and then we've got young people like Nelson Winkie, who had a great spring, David Russick, who's played, Cam Allen, who's played, kind of as our other defensive linemen, and I think we have a chance to be very good with our front. Our top linebacker, all-league linebacker from a year ago, Justin Armstrong, is back. Had a great spring, great leadership abilities. We've got some really good young people there. So I'm excited about the front half of our defense.
The secondary is going to be completely new in terms of starters, but you've got some kids returning that have some experience back there as well.
Well, we do, but that's no question that was the hardest hit area that we had on our football team. We lost our 5 starters, when you talk about the 2 alleys and the 2 corners and the safety, and we lost 2 other top seniors. So we lost 7 players in our secondary, or our 5 back end positions. We don't have an awful lot of returners there. We've got a couple people, Emmett Bajorn and Jeremy Mims, both played, saw action last year. What we did, they were both safeties, so we took Jeremy and moved him to corner, so that gives us a couple of people that have played before. We think we're pretty talented there. We've got some young people that we're excited to see, but when you put them, under the gun in the line of fire, that's when, things start getting sorted out. And, and that's the hard part to play back there, because, if a defensive tackle makes a mistake or something like that, it might be a 4, 5, 6, 8-yard gain. But if corner or safety makes a mistake, it's lighting up the scoreboard. So
any differences in style of defense that you will implement from last year?
No. We will play our same defense. We're a 4-2 team. Play the 2 edge players. We're not going to make any changes. A lot depends. Last year we had the 2 great ends with Storm and Vanderland. We were able to create an awful lot of pressure with just rushing 4. If it need be, we could maybe put some more people in there as far as bringing 5 or 6. We'll see as the season progresses. Right. We'd like to not have to do that, but we're not going to get a pair of ends quite that caliber for a while.
Switching thoughts now to the offense, you return the GLIAC Freshman of the Year in Tyler Scarlett. Talk about what you're expecting out of him this year.
Well, he had a great freshman year. When you come in your first year playing, you set the school record for passing yardage. You probably did something right. He had a real solid year. We look for him, to improve. There's some things that he can do. I think he's very, very accurate with the football. He's probably as accurate as quarterback as I've ever been around with getting the ball, right to where it should be. And I think he's almost 66, 67% completion. So, if he can have that type of year again, that's a starting point. Anytime you got a quarterback that plays well, you got a chance.
He has got some targets returning to throw to, including an all-league tight end and Brian LaChapelle, but some other guys at wide receiver as well.
Well, we do. Our skill people, we think, are pretty solid. We've got 4 seniors that have returned at wide receiver that have all played, and with Matt Curtin and Ethan Shaver and Alec Alzenheimer and Pat Carroll, all those people played. Brian's a senior now at tight end. So we've got all 5 skilled kids there. We've got 3 tailbacks back that all played last year, and Akeem Kaysen and Cedric Barber and Charlie Leffingwell. So I think we should be pretty solid with our skilled people.
You talk about Kaysen and the season he had last year, not necessarily the yardage that we've had from a tailback, but certainly a solid year. Do you expect him to take another step forward?
Well, he set out this spring because of the eligibility issue with the 6-year players, and so what was able to happen was we were able to give some young people a chance. Cedric Barber had a real good spring. Charlie Weffingwell had a good spring, got banged a little bit, but right now I see that as a three-way go. I mean, there's not a quote feature back at this point in time. I feel comfortable with all three of those young people, and we'll let that play out during fall camp.
In terms of the offensive line, it seems like every year we have an offensive lineman named Ogliak first team, and it happened again last year. Right. Talk about the guys up front and what your expectations there.
Well, we lost 3 starters, in Kozak and Glazier and Matt Goddard, and Goddard was an all-league player for us. We do return Chris Mullins and Aaron Brandt to the starters. We've got some young people. Buddy Poljan, who's played for us, has had a great spring. Frank Verwink and Bruce Tettleman also are young people that right now will be in the starting lineup, and both those young people have a chance to, we think, be special type players.
How about special teams? Seems like for the first time in a few years we've got both kicker and punter returning, and both were pretty solid last year.
Right. Well, Garrett Mead handled our kicking for us, and he's been pushed all spring by Matt Botch. We'll have two young people will go into the fall camp with a chance to earn the starting kicking duties. Jordy Ledvin did a great job for us. We really struggled to try to find a punter, and Jordy filled that job for us internally and did a very nice job. It was 37, 38 per punt, and he's back. So we returned both of those. Our returners return with Elsenheimer, Shaver, Case, and all those kids have returned both punts and kicks. So I feel we should be in pretty good shape there.
When you look at your schedule for the upcoming season, you start with Tiffin, then you go to Walsh. You've got the South Division teams up first, but you got 3 of your first 4 at home. That's got to feel pretty good.
Well, this year our schedule for us favors us early. Our 4 of our 5 home games will be in the first 5 weeks, and one of our road games is still in the UP. So I think the first 7 weeks we only leave the UP one time, which we like. Now the last 3 or 4 weeks, might be a little different, but I like our schedule. I think we play well at home. Our kids like to play at home, and with that type of a schedule early at home, a lot of games, we got a chance.
Well, Coach, we look forward to the 2012 season. Have a great year.
Thanks, Wes.
For Michigan Tech Football, I'm Wes Fromm.